Artur Beterbiev brutally knocks out Joe Smith Jr. in the second round. Unified champion, holding the WBC, IBF, and WBO. So one of the things that I noticed in this fight too was how Joe Smith Jr. I mean, I was aware. I made the assumption that both of them were going to come out sort of aggressive. Now, Beterbiev came out aggressive at first. He came out as aggressive because they're both being aggressive towards one another. Then Beterbiev decided to fight on the back foot because Joe Smith just kept running inside, trying to punch, trying to use mid-range stuff, trying to use mid-range jabs and stuff, trying to fight on the inside, he was basically trying to rough Beterbiev up. But one of the things that I initially thought of would happen was how I felt as though if they were exchanging with one another, Beterbiev would be able to counter him due to his shorter arm length and being able to punch quicker on the in close quarters. I'm pretty sure that was the first knockdown where that actually happened, because Joe Smith was trying to run in or something and then try to step forward. Then before Joe Smith could land his punch, he gets countered by Beterbiev. He gets countered. Then after, even though he got up first after being dropped, it didn't seem like he was hurt at first until he got dropped down the second time. Then he had a good poker face. He had a very good poker face, but a little after that, he essentially was wobbly legged and stuff, still trying to fight forward and come forward, because actually I'm not sure. I thought the fight would have went a lot longer, but it didn't. I mean, it would make sense because Joe Smith is a person who fights and who puts pressure on his opponents and fights with them rather than just trying to avoid getting hit. But I really thought the fight would have lasted a little longer than just 2 rounds. It was a very quick affair. I was surprised at how early it ended. Now, I understand that Beterbiev is a super power puncher and all that stuff, but that really caught me off guard. That really caught me off guard. I did not expect that at all. I expected Beterbiev to win, but more of a late stoppage, gradually over time type thing. Not an immediate early, just nothing like that. Now Joe Smith is at 28-4, and Artur Beterbiev continues his knockout streak at 18-0, which is very impressive for a champion, because he has no decision wins, and he's been fighting elite fighters after elite competition. Now the problem that I see though is how people diminish Beterbiev's victory over Joe Smith simply because Joe Smith had losses prior and lost to Barrera. He's championship material. Joe Smith Jr. is not a fighter who is this D-class fighter. No, he's I would consider him an elite fighter. I would consider him that because of his accomplishments. Yeah, he struggled against Vlasov to get the WBO title, but he still beat elite fighters like Eleider Alvarez and Bernard Hopkins. He beat those fighters, and people want to diminish the victory and not give Beterbiev credit for knocking this guy out in 2 rounds. Before that point, he was only knocked out probably a decade ago. Probably knocked out only a decade ago by who knows who the heck that was. Let me see. Yeah, knocked out by Eddie Caminero back in 2010. So over 12 years ago, just to get stopped in that brutal fashion for the first time in almost a decade. I don't even think Joe Smith was dropped in between those points either, which makes it even more impressive for Artur Beterbiev, because I've seen Joe Smith was hurt by opponents before, but he was not dropped. He wasn't dropped. To go in more on Beterbiev, that fight between him and Bivol, man, look, when it comes to Bivol, now it's gonna be a both undefeated fight. Personally, I got Bivol winning this fight. I think Beterbiev can knock out Bivol, but I have Bivol winning. I think Bivol can comprehensively outbox Beterbiev. Now, the odds for this fight though, odds may be 50-50. I think Bivol may be the slight underdog in this case. So even if he beat Canelo, I think Beterbiev's reputation will definitely make him more of the A side in this fight compared to Bivol. And I see that fight going either 2 ways. I see Beterbiev knocking Bivol out in a devastating fashion, or Bivol beating him on the scorecards. And I don't even think the scorecards are going to be that long. I don't think so. I don't think the scorecards are going to be that long, because they're both elite fighters now, and they're both world champions. Now, when I say that, you can dominate a world champion. You can, but also Beterbiev, such as Bivol, they both have amateur pedigrees, and they both also are pretty good at boxing, even if Beterbiev doesn't really have that much of a reputation of being a good boxer either. Bivol, though, I would give him the advantage, the far higher advantage when it comes to winning rounds. I think he's a far better round winner than Beterbiev. Bivol was never below on a scorecard in any fights of his, while Beterbiev was. And he fought, and Beterbiev fought someone who was familiar to a fighter in Bivol in terms of like style of not trying to get hit, which was Goltzik, and he struggled on the scorecards against him. He was up on one of them, but still, like that's what I mean. That's why I think that Bivol would probably win a decision against him. And I don't think it would be one of those cases where Bivol has the ability to win and he just doesn't win the rounds because he gets intimidated by power. I don't think that's the case, because I feel like if that was the case, he would have lost to Canelo. Now, I'm not saying Canelo hits as hard as Bivol, but Canelo has also had that intimidation factor because he was stopping almost all of the guys at the 168-pound division and then became undisputed after. So Beterbiev continues to reign. I'm just wondering when that fight's happening next. I heard something about Anthony Yard, this and that and shit. Anthony Yard, well, looking at how Anthony Yard did against Kovalev, I think he's going to get destroyed. That ass going to get destroyed. Anthony Yard could drop Beterbiev, but no. He can, but I'm just going to make the bold assumption that he's just going to get obliterated in that fight. I think he would not be able to take that power. He was putting some damage on old Kovalev, but if that was younger Kovalev, he would have definitely got stopped probably earlier and wouldn't have been that close on the scorecards either. So if they're trying to make that fight, it's going to be a quick victory for Beterbiev, unless a massive crazy upset happens and I would lose my mind. I'm going to assume this undisputed fight would happen before Canelo gets his rematch with Bivol. Would he even still rematch him if he lost? Probably would try to take revenge and stuff. I even heard about Gilberto Ramirez versus Dimitri Bivol. Now, I haven't watched enough of Gilberto Ramirez to really predict, but I will say, on the contrary to popular, because people seem to think that Gilberto Ramirez is going to get destroyed by all the elite 175 fighters. Look, no, I don't think that. I think Gilberto Ramirez is going to give more of a challenge to these top light heavyweight champions than many people think. Look, he hasn't fought the best opposition, in his performances against like higher tier fighters haven't been the best, but I really do believe he's gonna give some of these guys runs for their money. He might even beat some of them. He might even beat Bivol or Beterbiev. Do I think that? No, I don't see him beating either of them yet. But he might, because there are a lot of fights where like many people don't even think he'd win. Then he just wins, like Teofimo Lopez. He outboxed Lomachenko and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Who else? That's really all I heard about like the 175 division so far. I cannot wait to see how the division ends up if Bivol and Beterbiev fight each other after winning their fights, if they have any. I cannot wait to see that. So how did you feel about the fight? Like what were your opinions about it? Did you think it was an early stoppage? I don't think that at all. And if you do, wow. But do you think that Joe Smith could have continued? Do you have something completely unrelated? So just let me know in the comments, and hope y'all subscribe, please. Bye.